Right. Okay. Well, a very, very warm welcome to you. Welcome to our Zoom call tonight. And I'm incredibly excited to welcome on our call tonight, absolute superstar in our business, Emma Caren, 100 Club and stratospheric as far as we're all concerned. So Emma, a very warm welcome to you. How are you?
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm very good. Just got back from the gym, so a bit
Oh,
sweaty.
okay. Oh, that's seriously impressive. Yeah. Okay. Now, look, are you on camera or are you going to put
I've
yourself on
turned
camera?
my screen off because if the baby starts crying, I can mute you and you won't necessarily hear her
Okay.
crying, and I can just
All right.
still,
I understand.
yeah, so
Okay.
apologies.
No worries. Anyway, it's a wonderful picture. And so just very quickly, how is your new baby? So she is how old now?
She's 3.5 months old. She's amazing, actually. She sleeps at night, so it's like a miracle, but she's a really good, happy baby. So yeah, lovely. Thank you.
Cool. Oh, well, that's amazing, and that's going to be very important for your flight to Jamaica, or your flight to Jamaica, not to have a
Yeah.
screaming baby. But Emma, I mean, your story is a story which has captivated really so many people across the whole of the Juice Plus world. And it really is, really, it's a fairy tale story, really, but it's true. That's the most amazing thing about it. It's utterly true. And so we're just fascinated to hear from you tonight and to hear a little bit about the background and obviously for some really good tips, hopefully, for all of us, but also particularly people who are just getting started. So thank you so much for joining us. Now, just for everyone on the call, I've endeavored to mute everyone. And if you do come on the call a little bit later, or if you've just come on the call, if you could just make sure you're muted, that would be amazing, because we just want to make sure that all we hear is Emma and her amazing story and what she has to say to us. So Emma, let's just start straight off with I think it's just really interesting for people to know a little bit about your background, because some people might say, oh my God, she's always been such a superstar in our business. But when you first started, tell us about your background.
Okay, so when I first joined the Juice Plus business, it was July 2012. Firstly, before I start, thank you so much for inviting me on the call. I really appreciate it, and I hope I can help anybody that's new tonight. So I started the business in 2012, July. I just had a baby. She was 4 months old. Her name is Sienna. She's now 4.5. I can't believe she's going to be 5. And I was a mental health worker. I had a psychology degree. I'd worked in mental health, and I was on maternity leave, and I split up with Sienna's dad. So I was receiving benefits to help me survive, basically. What I earned didn't cover my rent. So my maternity pay and what I got from the government didn't even cover my rent, let alone my living expenses. So my mum and dad were having to pay a couple of £100 every single month to my rent account just so I could survive. And I'd probably say I was in a pretty dark place when I found the products in the business. I just didn't understand why life had gone so wrong so quickly. I loved being a new mum, but I felt like I didn't have any purpose. I was living hand to mouth, which is the toughest thing I think I've ever had to do, and I'll never forget that. And I knew that I didn't want to go back to working in the mental health unit, and I'd been signed off my whole pregnancy because it just stressed me out so much. And I just was looking for something else. I've always been a hard worker. I've always known that if I work really hard, I can achieve stuff. I just was a bit lost. So when Juice Plus was offered to me, it was this. I can't even explain it. It was this opportunity, this chance that I didn't really know it was going to change my life as much as it has, but it was just let's run with this. What have I got to lose? Absolutely nothing. Could things get any worse? Probably not. So yeah, it was my knight in shining armor that came in a Juice Plus.
Incredible. And so how were you first introduced to it? Because a lot of people will be thinking, oh, I would love to sponsor someone such as yourself, of course. And of course, there are often a number of different stages to bringing someone. So can you just talk us through a little bit about the stages that you went through, and and then what attracted you to Juice Plus? But it'd be very interesting just to hear about the stages, about how you went through to then come on board.
So the way that I was signed into the business is the way that I would teach everybody to join the business, and the way that my best leaders have joined that's that I was on the product first. So I was a customer first. So I found out about the product because my cousin liked a picture that Richard Ravey was tagged in by his sister Katie Ravey. So I'd never met Katie, the lady that I bought the product from, who now happens to be like one of the leading Juice Plus representatives. So I'd never met her. We weren't friends. We didn't have mutual friends either. It was just that through my cousin liking something, it appeared in my newsfeed. It just shows the power of social media and how far we can reach people. I signed up to the product fairly quickly. It worked out that it was cheaper for me to buy shakes and do a meal replacement twice a day than what it was for me to eat normal food, which is ironic. So I signed up to buy the shakes and I was added to Katie's support group, and I literally built this amazing relationship with her. She knew that I wasn't in a very good place. The support group was like something where all the girls were every night chatting about life and men and babies and bodies, and just it was like just a girls' chat room that happened to be also about Juice Plus. But Katie and I built a really strong relationship. So when she posted in the support group about needing someone to join the business, I jumped at the chance. More than anything, Katie on her own personal Facebook had a great life. Like, she'd bought a new car because of Juice Plus. She'd and at this time she was like brand new to the business herself. I was her second distributor, so she was just earning commission off her customers. But like those £300-400 have significantly improved her lifestyle, and she showed that on Facebook, and that's what I wanted. Like £500 a month is life-changing money, and that's what I wanted from the business. So yeah, she said to me, look, if you really want this opportunity, I'll give you a chance, like I'll give you a shot, but you've got to know that if you want to work with me, there's certain things you've got to do. So she really set it up from day one that this isn't just like a free ride. I'm not going to spend my time with you if you're not going to give it, like, put as much effort in as I am. So I understood, right, I've got to do this properly. I explained to mum and dad what I was doing, but I didn't have the £50 to join the business. So I'd previously asked my mum to lend me some money for food shopping, borrowed the £50 of her and spent it on joining the business. So when I explained it to mum and dad, I told them it was free to join, which made them really like a bit unnerved about what it was. My dad told me it was a pyramid scheme, as most people think it is. And obviously we're not. And they didn't really get it. My mum was my first customer because she felt sorry for me. And now obviously my mum's the national marketing director in the business, and everybody in my family takes the shakes and the capsules every morning because they want to, not because I buy them, because I don't. But my understanding was, I love the product. I absolutely love it. I'm sharing it naturally. Like, I posted my before and after picture on my Facebook page before I was a distributor because I was so proud of my results. Katie had posted something on my page about being proud of me and how well I'd done on the product. So people were already warmed up about the idea of what I was doing. So then when I joined the business, I already had customers waiting to go. So it was all very natural for me. Love the product. If you love the product, you share it naturally anyway. So when people inquired about it, it was like, well, hang on, this does make sense to join the business. I already trusted Katie, and we were able to work together really closely without it seeming like work, because we'd speak every day anyway. So it was very natural for me, and I absolutely loved it from day one.
That's fascinating. And what sort of results were you getting with the product? I mean, I take it you were attracted to the product because obviously you wanted to go on the shakes, and perhaps you wanted to, I don't know, were you wanting to go on a diet or
yeah. So the picture that I saw was a before and after picture on Facebook. So it was that I wanted to lose weight. I thought it was just a fast weight loss product. And what Katie did, and what I guess we try and do now, is that when we like pull people into the product by sharing weight loss, and then we educate. I understood that I would lose weight, but then Katie completely re-educated my mind on health, and then I bought the capsules. So I understood initially just from the picture, this must be weight loss, and then I was educated further along. But I lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks of baby weight, and then continued to like lose weight. And so the shakes just changed my life in terms of I felt so much more confident with my body, and my eating habits changed so much. So I used to be a Diet Coke girl. I used to drink Diet Coke, like I used to buy 4 litres a week and drink it, which now I think is absolutely crazy. I used to start my day with a cup of tea with sugar and 2 biscuits. So it was like a complete lifestyle overhaul when I joined the product, and it really did make a really big difference to me.
That's amazing. I just wanted to pick up on one particular point that you were mentioning that I hadn't asked you about before. But you said that when Katie brought you on, she had sort of high expectations, and she sort of said, "Look, if you're going to run with me, you've got to, we're going to really do this together." I've got expectations for you. Can you give us an idea of some of the expectations that she was giving to you that you were like, "Oh, okay, right"? Because it sounds like it was quite a sort of rigorous program that she started you with.
It wasn't that it was a program. It was more that if she told me to jump, I used to have to say how high. Not in a that sounds a bit funny, but not in a. It was about me being teachable and whether I was ready to listen. She was like, I know what I'm doing. If you want to do this, you need to listen to me and follow me. So when she said to me, right, there's an event coming up in Windsor, you need to come to it. I went to the event. I got a babysitter and went to the event, and I saw a gold Olympic medalist there. I saw Bob and Sue Burdick. They were at my first event. I thought they were the people from The Secret, James. I was like, oh my God, I've met these people from The Secret. No, that's Bob and Sue Burdick. So when Kate said, you have to get to an event, you have to buy the capsules, you need to be on social media, you need to post things, you need to keep she was very clear on Facebook that you do not give any information away to anybody. So when people inquire on your pictures or a post that you've put up, you don't ever give away information. You always let them know. I'll message you, I'll inbox you. And then when I phoned my cousin and said, look, I'm about to join this business. At the time it was £50. It costs £50 to join. All we've got to do is be on social media. I said, you're on Facebook all the time anyway. Why don't you join with me? And she was like, yeah, okay. And I said to Katie, well, my cousin's already on the product. She's going to join. And she was like, well, I need to talk to her first before I let her in my team. And at the beginning, we used to almost vet people before, like say to them, are you going to do this? Are you going to work? Are you going to listen? Are you going to come to events? I think we had like a team group, and they had to contribute in the team group. You had to be active in the support group. You had to look after your own customers and communicate with them every single day and build a relationship with them. And Katie had, like, when a customer sent us inquiries, we had to them to make sure that we're giving them the correct information. So that was how it worked at the beginning. It was quite structured, and it worked really, really well.
Well done. And so, I mean, when you first came in, what was your expectation of what you would achieve? I mean, I know someone said, I think you mentioned to me once that Katie said to you that you could earn £500 a month from your mobile phone, or something like that. But anyway, tell us what was your expectation?
So when I first joined, it was literally that I wanted to earn a couple of £100 extra a month, so mum and dad didn't have to top up my rent. Katie said, like, you could earn yourself £500 a month part-time if you work hard. And so 500, like I said before, £500 a month makes a significant difference to your lifestyle. That's like, well, it used to be nearly half of my rent, or that's a car, like a really nice car on finance, or your food shopping every month. This like makes a big difference. Katie told me to do a vision board of what I wanted to achieve, and I didn't really understand what that. Only when I went to that first event, I saw Carol Wilcox speak, and she talked about being a national marketing director. And I thought, okay, well, if I could get to national marketing director in 3 years, I'd like to earn 36 grand a year in 3 years. And eventually, maybe in 10 years, I'd like to have enough money to have bought my own house and send my daughter to private school. But initially, I just wanted really basic things, like I wanted to not be on benefits. I wanted a new toaster and kettle.
Oh yeah, I love that. I remember
Auntie had, yeah. And I wanted like my house wallpapered, all stuff that I guess normal people do that I just couldn't afford to do. And I just didn't want to live out my overdraft. So I wanted £100 in my bank account outside of my overdraft. That's what I wanted. And it was like, if I can tick these things off along the way, then like, let's do that. So the first month that I joined the business, I went SDG and I earned £400. And it was like that the first month, the fact that I did that got me for life, I think. Because it was life changing for me. I couldn't believe that I had this £400 from just. I got £400.
Yeah.
And then obviously about about 2.5 months into the business, I'd gone sales coordinator and I went to the Rome convention. And then I really understood what Juice Plus was about, much more than I had initially. I met Susie Mitchell. I saw she was a national marketing director. I saw Alex go 100 Club. And I realised, okay, this is a bit more than you could earn £500 a month. Like I heard that someone said, oh, Alex earns like 20 grand a month. And I was like, no one earns 20 grand a month. And they were like, no, he does. And I was like, oh my God, like he's like a celebrity, you know?
Yeah,
So I my eyes were open to what the opportunity could offer me.
So having already started and you went to the Rome conference, what then changed? Because did you then start working in a really focused way, or did you just continue as you were? Or, you know, what then, was there a shift after you came back from Rome?
Knew I wanted to hit sales coordinator before Rome, and I was trying to get to senior sales coordinator, which didn't happen. So we'd started building a team and we were literally duplicating that same system. So if you were a customer and you were doing well in the support group, you had great results, and we had built a relationship, then I'd message you and offer you the business. And we didn't really get anybody saying no, because we were such a tight, because it was so new and it was very small, we were so tight knit, everybody wanted to be in our team, you know, like we were girls. Kate used to call us the girl army, so everybody wanted to be with us. And when we came back from Rome, we'd really like bonded as a team, I think. And I just understood, if I work really hard, I can make some serious money from this. And we watched someone go on stage and sob about how much Juice Plus had changed their life, and I just thought, this is going to make me feel good every single day. So we really started working hard. Sienna had got that little bit older, and I understood that this business might mean that I could put her into nursery a couple of days on working it. So that was the November, and I think I arranged for Sienna to start nursery in the February. So that because I had an aim that I wanted to go national marketing director in the 12 months, because that's what Katie was aiming for. So I was like, I can do it too. So I like made lots of plans, and I think we'd got like a real process going. So we literally were just duplicating, and I did start working harder for sure. And I think I'd built my own support group by then, so I had to keep my team like in check and things like that. But we were just having fun with it, and at the beginning it was an absolute whirlwind, but it was just about finding people that were like-minded, setting them up so they understood what they needed to do with the system like that we had in place, and just like rolling with it. So every time a new customer came in, they went through the same process, that everybody was the same. And we just had a great time doing it, so it didn't feel like work.
No, fantastic. And you were loving the product and everything. It was utterly natural.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, what was you've got some fantastic people in your team. I mean, what was your like first, big breakthrough where you thought, oh my goodness, something massive is going to happen here?
I think when we went, I don't know, when I went national marketing director, I'd been in the business 11 months, went 39 Club national marketing director. So obviously that was our pinnacle position. And I remember saying to my mum and dad a few months before, it was the April, my check came in and it was £4,000. So I'd been in the business less than a year, £4,000 check. And I was like, I said to my mum, I've got £4,000 this month. And she was like, wow. I remember having a conversation with her about it. And that was when it kind of like, I don't think I was expecting it. And then the next month, and by the time I went national marketing director, it was 6. And I think at those points, I was like, okay, this business is really taking off. But when it really went for me is when they introduced the new positions. So they explained to us there's a new position coming out. We're going to introduce IMD, EMD, PMD. And I sat for dinner with Sven and I said to him, I've already got the pay line for PMD. He was like, yeah, but it's not just the pay line. You have to have, all the legs in place and the right percentage, there's much more than that. So we went through my business and he was like, oh, you've already got the pay. I already had the pay line and I already had the legs and I already had the percentage. And I remember going outside to phone my dad and said, Dad, they just brought this new bonus system in. And there's like 80 grand waiting for me. And he was like, oh, don't be so ridiculous. They're not just going to give it to you. And then I went PMD 2 months later when we were in Nice, and it was just like, I remember jumping up and down thinking, this is what's going to buy my baby's a girl a house, you know, like that's going to give us our freedom. Because at the time I was living in a, and I came back and said to mum and dad, like, I'm about to get all this money, I can't live in this council flat anymore, I'm gonna have to rent somewhere until I can buy a house. And my dad was like, yeah, I agree with you. But that was like a poignant moment for me, because it was like, this business is actually going to change my life. And I remember thinking, until that money's in my account, I can't get excited about it. You know, when something seems too good to be true, I was like, they're going to change the rules or something's going to happen. So when that money came into my account, it was like, okay, so now I've got the deposit for my house. Yeah, so I think
suddenly you had, how much money came into your account on that occasion?
I think including my commissions, it was 103,000 in 1 month. It was unreal.
So suddenly you looked at your account and you thought, oh my God, 103,000 coming into your account. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So you must have been just like ecstatic at that point, because I mean, you know, it's not like you'd won the lottery. I mean, obviously it is in a sense like winning the lottery on a minor scale, but you've done a lot more than that. You'd found something which was a gold mine.
I remember saying to my mum, I was like, Mum, sometimes I feel like, did they choose me because I had such a terrible life and they thought, this poor girl's got an awful life, let's just make her like, you know, like it just felt so unreal. But yeah. The truth of the matter is I worked my butt off to get, it didn't happen. It was not easy. It was amazing. It was the best 18 months ever, but I worked my damn hard for it. You know, we really worked hard, but we enjoyed it.
Now, Emma, a lot of people are going to be saying, you know, look, people are going to be saying, well, I'm working hard and I'm doing stuff, but they'd be thinking, well, Emma, what were you actually doing on a daily basis that seemed to give you so much progress?
I said this on my team call the other week. Lots of people say that they work hard, but it's like when I joined the business and when I was really working for big promotions, it came before everything aside from my little girl. So on a Friday night, I wasn't out with my friends. I was at home working. On a Saturday night, like I remember my friends being like, we haven't seen you for ages, but I lived, breathed, loved Juice Plus, and that's all I wanted to do it. So if I socialise with my friends from Juice Plus. That's what I did. So social media is something that people do every day. But so many people are not using social media in the right way, or they're just wasting their time. So we can all go and like stuff on Facebook and comment on people's posts, but you know, we have to be proactive with what we're doing. So we're building relationships, we're building our audience, we're getting people to interact with our Facebook. So I did a training at the weekend and I was explaining, if you've got 500 friends on your Facebook, 1 in 10 people sees your post and 1 in 7 of those is going to comment on it. I don't even know what the maths is, but there's not very many people. If you've got 5,000 people on your Facebook, naturally it's a numbers game. More people are going to see your post and more people are going to comment on it. So you need to post more times than the average person. So we post between 7 and 10 times a day, and you need to have more friends than you've ever had before. So you need to be adding people every single day to increase your network, because your audience needs to grow. So someone said to me the other day, well, I haven't got any orders all month. I didn't get any orders last month. I said, okay, how many friends have you got? 467. How many did you have last month? 467. How many did you have 5 months ago? 467. I said, well, guess what? Your audience hasn't changed. So you're posting the same stuff to the same people. If you've got a growing audience every single month, then it's like being a shop window. So your Facebook is your shop window. If your shop only opens to a few people and you only let certain people see what's in your shop, you're not going to sell very much. If your shop doesn't have much on display, you're not going to sell very much. So you need your shop window to be open to more and more people. So your profile should be open. You should be adding to your audience every single day, and your shop window should be showing new and exciting stuff every day. And I don't mean like I discourage people from directly posting Juice Plus stuff. We want to create intrigue. Some people have never heard of us. We get one chance to make a first impression, so we need to do it the right way. So we need to be producing results information. We need to make our lifestyles look exciting. We need to make people want to be like us. Yeah. And that's exactly what Katie did to me. I didn't have a clue what she was selling until she sent me the information. Nobody had a clue. If you went on Katie's page, you wouldn't know what product she was using. You just knew that it was having amazing results. And so that's what I teach my team. Stop posting too much information, because then nobody has to ask questions. And we want people to ask questions.
Ask questions, yeah. Have you changed, Emma, the way that you work since you started, or is it pretty much the same all the way through?
No, at the beginning, I definitely made a few mistakes. So I used to tag people a lot at the beginning, and that was an error. So I don't encourage.
Why was that an error?
Well, I used to just so I'd put a post up and then I'd tag like 70 of my friends and hope that it would reach a bigger network. But all I did was irritate people and get people commenting saying, stop tagging me in your Juice Plus posts. So yeah, we don't do that anymore. And that was at the very beginning. And I used to do I do sometimes post cold recruitment posts, but I much prefer recruiting people into the business that are already on the product. So that's the only difference is probably now that we do. And obviously we use Zoom a lot more. So rather than getting people to an event, which sometimes could be difficult, we try and get people on a recruitment call with Zoom, or we go live in our support group. And when people inquire about the business, I now add them with business videos, rather than, especially that helps for new people, rather than getting them to explain the business to someone, they could just add them to a group and say, I'll have a browse through the videos, as long as they have their permission before adding them, and then come back to me. And we find that works much better, so people can really understand the business, and a newbie doesn't have to try and explain that.
Yeah, no, that's great. So it's technology, isn't it, that you're running with, and that's great. Now, we're going to stop in about a few minutes, and then we're going to move to question and answer. So if anyone's got any questions that you would like to ask Emma, and what an amazing opportunity to ask someone who's so knowledgeable and so successful. So if you would just like to start thinking about the questions, and we're not going to open it up to wild sort of people all asking questions live as such. We're going to do it where if you go to the chat area down at the bottom, you can put in your question there, and then I will ask the questions of Emma, and that will work really well. So at 9 o'clock we're going to move. We're going to move into that. So please have your questions, and to be thinking about what you would want to ask Emma if you were sitting right in front of her right now. Because what an incredible opportunity. Emma, some people are going to say, well, it's obviously been, amazing all the way for you. But I know and understand that you had a very difficult time before you started. And to some extent, as you got going, of course, it was quite difficult, being a single mother and everything. But perhaps I could just ask you, what's been your highest point and what has been your lowest point? Because some people will say, well, I'm having challenges. Sometimes I feel great. Sometimes I don't, or whatever. But what has been your highest point and your lowest point in your Juice Plus career to date?
So highest point was definitely recently when we went to Marrakesh, the Millionaires Club achievement. So without realizing, when I joined the business, I posted on my Instagram in the bio that I wanted to be part of it's a destination millionaires club. Now that doesn't even exist. So, well, not as far as I knew in Juice Plus. So when they showed my video in Marrakesh and I went Millionaires Club, it was literally the most special evening ever, a night I will never ever remember, never ever forget, and that massive achievement. And I've got that certificate on my wall. And
it was a very, very emotional evening.
Yeah, it really was.
It was extraordinary. You had to pinch yourself in a sense, because you just could hardly believe what you were hearing. It's like a book. But, obviously it's your story, and then there were other stories as well. This is something very special. So that was your highest point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about your lowest?
I think I've had a few tough times in the business. When I was trying to go for senior sales coordinator, so quite early on in the business, like it was really hard trying to stay positive all the time. And I had quite a turbulent relationship with Sienna's dad. And, you know, sometimes you just don't want to be positive and happy, and you want to just scream and shout and stamp your feet. And it was learning to manage my emotions, and not use Facebook as a way of ranting, because it's not good. And I really struggled getting senior sales coordinator, and my check dropped in the December, because I'd been trying so hard for this promotion. I'd given all my customers away, given all my new team members away to try and build my legs up, and then my check dropped, and it was like it was a kick in the, like, well,
yeah,
not kick in the teeth, but almost, yeah, like I was trying so hard, but I was focusing on the wrong thing.
So how did you refocus? What did you do to get yourself back on track at that stage?
So I went to a meeting with John Hullawaty and Susie Mitchell. It was an SSC and above meeting. And John said to me, you're not quitting, because if you never give up, you can never fail, Emma. You're not a quitter. Like, and what, do you want to look back and think that people are going to fail, that you gave up and you failed? Like, no. And I remember him saying to me, one day you're going to look back and say, thank the Lord that John Hullawaty spoke to me and he didn't let me give up, because this business is going to make you a millionaire. And I was like, you're an idiot sometimes, John. He was like, I promise you. In fact, I put money on it, which I actually need to not mention, because I owe John a bet. But it was like, I didn't want to look back one day and think I could have had more if I didn't give up at the tough times. So he just said to me, just go back to doing what you know works. Stop trying to change it up, and just go back to posting on Facebook, getting your customers and building relationships. That's where it's exciting, when people message you and say like, oh, I've lost all this weight. So he said, just go back to that and it will all come back to you naturally. So that's what we did. And I think the second toughest time in my business was when one of my good friends left the business. So he was like my buddy, and we used to speak every day, and he left to join a different network marketing company. And it was so tough, because I had to completely refocus myself. Who was I going to call every day about the business? Who was I going to talk to? And it came as a really big shock to me. And it was like, am I going to stay with this business? Like, I could never leave Juice Plus. It changed my life. It's like, it saved me from my situation. So I would never, ever walk away from it. And it was really tough to kind of realign myself into this business without that person. So I think having a buddy in the business is really important, but having a couple is definitely wise. So that if anybody ever isn't around, you've got someone else to work with.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be very reassuring for people, because I mean, that's, you know, often people don't really share their negative experiences because it's, oh, you know, it's not positive and everything. But at the end of the day, it's very real, because people say, well, actually, that's how I feel right now. But I think the fantastic thing about you, Emma, is that you're such a courageous person that you just somehow were able to dig deep to find the resources and the reserves to move yourself up to a high level. And it's very, very impressive.
Do you know, I think the most important thing about this business is having something to drive you. And for a long time, I thought my why was Sienna. And obviously now I've got 2 children, but I really thought that that's why I wanted to do this business, and I work hard for them. And to a point, it really is, it is just for them. But it's more that I wanted to prove to myself that just because I wasn't with Sienna's dad and just because of the situation I was in didn't mean I had to be nothing. And I think so I wanted to prove other people wrong, that my situation didn't define me. So I almost had like felt a little bit contrary about it, about proving a point that I could do this. And I think it's really important, whether it's your children or that you want to prove people wrong or whatever it is, to have that why that really pushes you. And that was always like, I couldn't look into Sienna's eyes and say, do you know what, Sienna, when you were a kid, I didn't do everything I could to make a better life for you. And I remember before I was going on stage once, and I was really nervous, and my friend said to me, he was like, Emma, you need to get rid of those nerves. And I was like, why? And he was like, because you need to realise everybody out there that's watching you right now isn't as important as being able to look into your daughter's eyes and say to her, I worked my butt off for you. He was like, so get rid of those nerves and go and rock it on stage. And that, it kind of never left me. So I think having that why, whatever it is, your mum, yourself, your children, really helps to push you to a different level.
Wow. Wow. Well, those are incredible words you're speaking. And I think everyone is going to be thinking, Amazing. And it's so touching, I think, that you're so real, that people can really say, look, we can utterly identify with where you were and where you're at, and that we all have good days and sometimes we have bad days, but we can move up and through it. And very admirable. So let's just now move to some of the questions, because we're a little bit over 9 o'clock and we're going to do our best to finish by 9:15, but there are some really interesting questions that have come up. Katie Matthewson has asked, Emma, what videos do you suggest sending with reference to the business for someone interested in joining? What are your favorite videos?
So we used to use 24/7 Dan Holtzman's video, but they've taken it offline at the moment. So I'm trying to fight to get it back, because I use that every day.
Yeah.
So that was what we're using at the moment. But we've actually got a group with my team's testimonials in it. So I've got like 5 different women who have all got completely different stories, who have posted about how Juice Plus franchises like changed their life and what it done for them. So we have a video of testimonials in it. That's what I add people to. So the 24/7 link, and which isn't there at the moment, and my testimonial group.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, your testimonial group. All right. Well, that's great. All right. So that's a very interesting one. Yeah. So Jade asks, what is an example of a DMO, daily method of operation? So if you were to say to someone, right, they're getting going and they're going to do something on a daily basis that's really going to move their business forward, what would that be?
So you need to post 7 to 10 times a day on Facebook, add 5 new friends every day. You should have your list of 100 people for products and business. So you need to be working through to speak to those 5 of those 100 every day, and then like keep it up. Not necessarily messaging them about business, just building that relationship with them, just chatting to people. And I have this rule that I make someone ask me about the business off my list. They have to ask me twice before I respond to it, because even though I want them on my team, I don't want them to think that I'm only messaging them because I want them on my team. If they are new to the business, their main focus is customers. So everybody should be posting in the support group at least once a day. In a product of the product, whether they post themselves a shake post or put something that's product of the product on Facebook. Once a week to get on a Zoom call, once a week to attend some sort of event. So whether that's an in-home event or like a Zoom event. What else is on the DMO list? It's just about like adding new people. We did it at the weekend. I'm trying to think all the things that were on it. It's really simple stuff. Most of it's based on social media, and obviously furthering your education. So I really like my girls to. I mainly have women on my team. I don't have many men at all, but I really ask them to do some self-development once a week. So like a couple of hours reading or 15 minutes every day makes a big difference.
Good. All right. Well, that's fantastic. So let me ask you another question. This is from Simone Davis. How many people did you have on your front line when you became National Marketing Director, and how many deep? And I think perhaps we could also ask the same probably for PMD as well. How many people did you have front line?
I think I had 6 or 7 PB legs when I went National Marketing Director, and I was 39 clubs, so 39 qualifiers. I don't know how many deep I was.
Yeah.
Presidential Marketing Director, I was 9 PB legs wide, and again, by then I was like 75 club, I think. So I don't know how deep it was, but I understood that we had a different structure when I went National Marketing Director to what we have now. I went National Marketing Director on the old structure, so you had to build structure. There was 5 sales coordinators and SDD, blah blah blah. So I know that we used to build strong legs one at a time. So I'd work with one leg and then build that up with the next leg. But now it's a bit different. So I think it's about, we worked out with the compound effect. If you recruit 825 worth of customer team member every month, and you teach your team to do the same, you can go national marketing director in 7 months effectively with the compound effect. Obviously it might vary on that, but that's like what you need to do every single month. 825 volume, 1 new team member, and then work on that and teach that to your downline, and you build a pay line that way.
Are you always very big on the 825+1?
Yeah, well, we explained it at the weekend to all the new guys. 825 personal points worth of orders is very achievable for everybody every single month. I always do 825 every single month, and I have done for 4 years. So there's no reason, there's no excuse for people not to do that. It's like 3 capsule orders and a shake order, and you're done. Or 2 shake, whatever it is. So it's not very much at all. And yeah, so I really push that, and 1 new team member, and I always try and encourage that to be a customer from like the previous months, but it's just whoever you want to sign up that you believe is going to work the business with.
Amy Durston asks a question, Emma. What are your top tips for getting a new team member up and running quickly and keeping the momentum going?
So they need to love the product, and they need to fully understand what they're doing. So I always encourage my new girls to post more. So I talk about a roast potato analogy. So when you make roast potatoes, you don't just put the potatoes in a pan of cold oil in a cold oven. You have to turn the oven on, warm the oven up, put the oil in the pan, and the oil goes in the oven and heats up. The oven's hot, the oil's hot. So it's the same with social media. As a new person, you need to warm your audience up. So you need to start posting about healthy lifestyles, introducing that you're going to start adding extra posts. So you don't just, one day you barely post on Facebook and the next day you post 10 posts about healthy living and before and afters. You literally need, someone never knew how to make roast potatoes. So you literally need to warm the oven up on Facebook. Girls, not to post too much at the beginning, to slowly introduce healthy lifestyles and kind of warm their audience up, and encourage them to try and sell shakes initially, because it builds confidence. Capsules are more difficult to sell, so shakes and berries, or shakes and boosters initially, because it's easier for them to do that, build their confidence up, and then work towards premium capsules. So yeah, I think that's really important. I try and build a relationship with them, so speak to them regularly at the beginning, and also always get them to an event. So I set an expectation when I sign someone up that they have to do certain things, which includes watch a video. I send them GoPro worry, or my mum does actually. She always sends them GoPro for me, so they need to read that book. Or How to Build a Network Marketing Business is obviously brilliant as well. They need to come on Zoom calls, and they must attend an event. So all my new girls last month came, and some of them had literally joined the business the week before, but they came along because you need to understand what we're all about. So I just set an expectation straight away of what they need to do.
That's fascinating. Well, I'm going to ask you one final question in a minute, but it's fascinating that you talk about an event, because there are more and more events, aren't there, all the time, and there's a big event coming up on this coming Thursday in London at the Millennium Hotel with Scott Henley.
Amazing.
That will be absolutely incredible. So for anyone listening tonight, if you would like to come, the tickets are available on Eventbrite, and it's the same slides as the corporate tour. This Thursday, the Millennium Hotel in Knightsbridge with Scott. So that
amazing as well.
He's amazing, and he got a wonderful grasp of the business and creating such momentum. So that really will be incredible. So this Thursday, the 17th, in London, and tickets are available on Eventbrite. Good. Okay. So look, we're just finishing, Emma, and I think I've just really got one final question for you. And that is, what are you most excited about for the future of our business and for your future in our business?
So I want to go international on my business more than I am now. So I already get paid from 20 countries, I think, which is crazy. But I want to build like a big business in other parts of the world. Obviously, we've got the Dubai launch coming up next month, which is so exciting. Oh no, this month we've got the pre-launch, haven't we? And then we launch in January. So I'm really excited about Dubai. On a personal level, I want to build a business with my fiance. So when he comes to England, we've got so many plans to build a business together. And obviously my mum's already in the business, so I'm just looking forward to her creating a bigger income, and she's loving the business. So I think my aim now is that I've managed to change my life significantly enough to have financial freedom and independence, and I want to help other women do the same. So all of my new women, all completely different, but they've all got a big reason why they want this business to change their life, and that's what I love about this business. I can't wait for someone to go on stage and say, like, because of me, because of Emma Caren, my life's changed so much. And like we did a training at the weekend, and I said to everybody, right, I want you to sit down, I'm going to turn this music on, and the music wasn't very loud, and I was like, I want you to think about going to a big event, and Simon Bowler's going to say, we're about to call this person up on stage because they're nominated for an award, and I want you to say, like, what was the award and why did you get it? So on mine, I wrote, like, I want an award for, like, having a huge impact on women. So it sounds a bit cheesy, but I'd love, you know, one day for people to say, do you know how many women's lives you've changed? And not from an ego point of view, just because that's my aim now, just to make this little bit of difference in a big world. So many women that don't have choices because they don't have independence, and that's what I've created for myself, and I just want to help create that for so many more. So yeah, that's my aim.
Wow. Well, I don't think you could possibly have a higher or more laudable aim, and I think that's it. You know, it's just so exciting to see that people are pursuing something much bigger than themselves, a bigger vision, a bigger picture, helping mankind, helping women. The incredible goal, and the most amazing thing, Emma, is that you're achieving it. It's not just a dream. You're already achieving it. So I really think this has been the most incredible call. I mean, thank you, Emma, very, very, very much for taking your time to come on with us, because I'm sure you're very, very busy. Of course, you've got the young kids and everything, and you know, you're being pulled here, there, and everywhere with people wanting to ask you questions. But this has been an amazing call. And thank you for being so honest and open about everything. And I think that must be, well, it has been very inspiring for me, and I hope it has been for everyone listening this evening.
Thank you so much for having me. And will I see you tomorrow at the PMD retreat?
Absolutely, I will be there. I will be there, and I'm going to. This has been recorded, and I will send this, Emma, to you, and so
yes,
you can distribute it as you wish.
Thank you so much.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. Have a very nice rest of the evening, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I really hope you've enjoyed it. For me, it's been utterly incredible. Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye bye.
Take care, everyone. Good night.